Yay, we're live. Woo, woo.
Hello.
Welcome to Soul Sister Cafe with Krista and Ava. Holy crap, the shenanigans this time. We were supposed to do this hours ago, weren't we?
Yeah, we're a little bit behind. That's okay.
That's
It's okay.
fine.
It's all about going with the flow.
Go with the flow. That's right. So let me just take a minute now and go on my Facebook and make sure that we share this in the right places before we get started. We have a special thing today because Krista is going to do an actual reading live on the spot. No pressure or anything, Krista.
No pressure. I'm good.
No pressure at
I can
all.
handle it.
Yeah, you can handle it. I believe in you. Okay, I'm not even trying to sound good, just so you know. I was just being funny, but okay.
That sounds like my theme.
Okay,
Sure, I scare the neighbors once in a while.
now is Zen Conscious a group or a page?
It's a group, and it's like all capitals.
Okay.
It has to be all capitals.
Okay, just
because there's another one that's not.
Okay. Search. Zen, there it is, right there. We got it. All right. So, Soul Sister Cafe episode 3 live reading. All right. Pressure's on now. Pressure's on. Okay, so I'm going to be the subject unless we have a couple of people watching. So if there, do you want to do that, Krista? Do you want to open it up to people? If anyone,
sure. If somebody's here that wants me to do the reading on them, to have a focus on someone in particular, we could try that.
Okay, so let's give it a minute then. So those who are watching, if one of you would like to have Krista do a live on-air reading, you don't have to show your face or even tell us your name, honestly, unless it's already in there. But I mean, Krista is willing to do that. So if not, I'll be the one. So let's just give the person who's watching, let's give them a minute to decide if that's something they'd like to do. And in the meantime, Krista, you know what I'd like you to do? I would like you to just explain what it is that you do.
Okay, so in 2018, I developed this board, which I channeled, and I take crystals of my own that I've had for many, many years. And here we go. And I put the energy of the person I'm reading for into them. So basically, I'm connecting my higher self with their higher self is the way I think it goes. And then I throw them down on the board. And depending on which chakra they land on and which area on the board they land on, I can tell an issue that might be occurring in that chakra that you need to work on. And then I also use a clear quartz to signify what we absolutely need to work on today. Like, no putting it off. This needs some attention now.
Okay.
And do we know chakras? Should I just give a little?
Yeah, do a quick little rundown of what the chakras are.
So first we have our crown chakra, which is on top of our head. This is where the light of the universe, creator, however you want to say it, that's where the light comes in. The light of consciousness. And then we have our third eye. This is where we get our psychic information from angels, guides, creator, whoever. The information comes in through our third eye. And our pineal gland basically tells us what it means if we're open to it.
Right.
Then we have our throat chakra. This is the one, if you're unable to speak your truth, or if you're not speaking your truth, it will cause you to have a sore throat, or you'll choke a little when you talk, or you'll have a hard time catching your breath sometimes.
Clearing your throat all the time.
Yeah, it's a constant irritation, or sometimes you'll even feel like you need to say something, but you won't know what to say, like it's not coming out because you're not allowing it to come out. Then we have our heart chakra. a lot of times our heart chakra, because of traumas that we're going through, will kind of close it off, which is really bad because it stops the flow from the bottom and the lower chakra, or the lower and the upper chakras. If you don't have that bridge in between, it can't get through. Then you have your solar plexus, which is just below your rib cage. And this is where we hold our power. This is, I'm confident, I'm courageous, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know where I'm going. Nobody is going to stop me from being the person I'm meant to be. When you're firm in that belief, no one can get to you. Then you have your sacral chakra, which is down around your belly button area. This is where we hold a lot of our emotional traumas. With women, that chakra itself develops usually between 9 and 11-ish, a little bit older with puberty. This is where we hold all our traumas that we don't feel like we can deal with. So anything our mind can't handle, or anything we just don't feel like we can deal with right away, we pack it away in our sacral chakra. Then the lower chakra is called the root chakra, or the base chakra. This is one where we're really grounding into the earth. You really need to put your roots down from the chakra to do anything in life. You, besides your job, your money, and your physical life, if you don't have this chakra in order, you can't make roots. You can't have a permanent job. You won't be able to have a permanent relationship. You'll be hopping from relationship to relationship. You'll even have a hard time with friendships. It's hard to make commitments when you're not grounded to Mother Earth. So all of these things, when they're in balance, or at least all activated, will allow us to have a more harmonic day. We'll be able to go smooth with whatever's going on. A lot of times, if you're having trouble with a chakra, you can throw a color on to match that chakra to stimulate it a little bit, get it moving. But this reading should give you an idea of what you need to work on and where it is in your chakras. It will tell you in the now. It will tell you within a couple weeks, and then it has a later on period. So as long as you follow the now and the soon, you should be able to make it to where you want to get to. I don't know. Is that a
What
good
are you talking
explanation?
about? I'm going to have no problems. You're going to throw the crystals and they're just going to be like, oh my God, this woman is so balanced. She doesn't need anything.
I hope so. But basically,
great.
I'm just translating what your higher self already knows and has been trying to tell you that you've been ignoring usually, right? Because we don't
What?
want to hear it.
Well,
When for ourselves, we don't want to hear what we need. If someone tells
then,
us what we need, that's
yes,
different. But
that's
if
right.
we know for ourselves, oh, I shouldn't do that because that probably wouldn't be good for me, we're not going to pay attention to that advice. We're only going to pay attention if someone else points it out to us. And with that attached to our higher self, there's no going wrong with that, because your higher self is going to tell you what you need to know, regardless of whether you want to hear it or not.
And this is the thing, even those of us like you and I who
Mm-hmm.
channel such things, right, such information,
Mm-hmm.
and we would consider ourselves to be, a little bit more developed in our gifts than some people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has these abilities, just
Oh,
not
for
everybody
sure.
uses
Yep.
them, right? Not everybody
Mm-hmm.
cultivates them. But even those of us who are a little more down the garden path in our development of these gifts, we still sometimes don't follow our own
Nope.
advice, so to speak, or sometimes we will still block our intuition or not listen to it. Like you said, we'll ignore it because you know what? When it's closest to us, sometimes it's the hardest, isn't it?
Yep. And
Yeah.
and really, you don't really want to know right away that you're doing something that you probably shouldn't be doing. Let's face it, we don't want to know that we're wrong right away,
Who
right?
wants to be told that? Who wants to be told that?
Exactly.
Well, guess what? I'm the kind of person that does want to be told. I'm one of those odd ducks that would rather be told so that then I can, if there's something I need to do to work, like to work on,
Yep.
and something I need to correct, then I want to be able to do it because I'm into feeling good, right? I'm into feeling good. So whatever I can do to enhance my wellness and feel better and you know what, go through life happy. Like I want to feel good. So whatever you can share with me today, I will certainly take it to heart. I know
Okay.
last time we did the reading, it was what, a couple months ago now, I think, the first
Yeah.
time I got to experience it. So, I mean, this will be nice to kind of just
It was March.
revisit. I think it was, yeah, I think it was March when we were traveling. So I look forward to it. And just so you know, I will be honest with you too. So I'm not the kind of person who will just fluff you up just to fluff you up. So if you
Good.
share
I
something
don't
with
need
me
fluffing.
and it doesn't feel correct to me, I will certainly let you know.
Perfect.
But if you're ready to go ahead and just give me a reading, then
This
I'll
is
just,
actually this is actually better for me because I can probably connect to you because I'm like connecting with you right now. Whereas someone I don't see might be a little harder for me. I haven't really tried it.
okay,
Okay, well, give it a try.
let's do it.
Okay, so I'll turn this so we can see it a little better. Just let me know when you get a good view. Is that good?
Yep, that's good.
There we go. Okay, so usually I start off with this area because this is in the now. We have an angel light and it's resting on your crown chakra and your third eye chakra. So that indicates to me that you have some angelic information coming in and you're using that information to help heal others and yourself, which is what we're actually supposed to be doing.
Yep.
The fact that it's there too, it also gives for easy communication. So it'll open up that door a little bit more too. Then we have a selenite on the third eye. Do you see this little one here? So this selenite is a high vibration stone for the crown chakra. And right now you have it in your third eye, which totally makes sense because when you're bringing in information, the higher the vibration is, the easier it is for us to read if we've got something like this going on because it'll protect us kind of 3D people from the energy that comes with this. You doing okay? Yeah, okay. Then we have a tiger eye right here. And this is kind of touching on both of them too. I use the tiger eye to represent protection from fear. So everybody has a little bit of fear, but I would say because it's in this spot, this is usually connected to like if you were a healer in your past life, where you've been punished for it in some way, not necessarily a witch, any type of healer. You've trained yourself to know that that is a dangerous place to be. Now you have to let go of that because it's not serving you. All that does is stop you from getting the purity of the information that you're getting. If you're fearful of getting that information and share it with someone, then you're not going to get a pure read of it, if that makes sense. Okay, then we
It
have.
does make sense, Krista, because, and I will say that you brought that up last time too, so this is consistent. Yeah.
Oh yes, for sure, and it will sit there until we let it. There's always that little bit of fear because there's still a little bit of taboo that goes along with this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's anything to be afraid of. The more connected you are to yourself, the better. But there still is a taboo, and I think we carry that around. But that's a learned behavior. That's not necessarily something we've been taught. You did this and you got in trouble. You did this and you got caught. You did this and you got put to death. You did this and you got captured. So our psyche remembers that type of stuff, even if we don't.
Right.
We carry it to the next life and to the next life. And sometimes even down through our generations of children, the traumas of stuff that we faced on. So we have, now this is it's an aventurine, but I use it for the heart chakra in this reading. And it's in your throat chakra. So that's perfect place for it to be because when I see it there, that tells me that what you're saying is coming from a place of love, not a place of showboating or trying to get one over on you. It's always from a place of love, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Nice.
You have this is way better than last time, by the way. Uh, you have a sodalite in your throat chakra. Sodalite to me is truth and clarity. You speak the truth. You're not going to hold back. You're not going to um, sugarcoat it. You need to say what you need to say, and people need to hear what you need to say about it. So, and that's how it's going to be. This one here is an Apache tear. For this reading, it has two purposes. One of them is an ancestor stone. The other meaning for me is a grief stone. But I think in this aspect, like in this part right here, I'm going to say it's more of an ancestor stone because I think it's going to bring forward information that you've carried through this to this life from another life. So you're going to be able to keep using that information because once we have access to that information that we knew then, we can bring it with us. This one is a moonstone. And for this reading, I use it for balance, emotional balance, playfulness, joyfulness. And why not be joyful? Like you need to speak from a place of the innocence of a child and the wonder of a child and all that. So when you're getting all that in your readings and when you're speaking to people, you're going to help them to relax and get into that gentle, childlike mode rather than be kind of like they don't want to be in that moment. It'll make them relax and feel more at home with you. Mm-hmm. Then you have, okay, so we're moving into the heart chakra now. You have your red jasper in your heart chakra. This is your grounding stone. And I find this totally amazing because when I see this, this tells me that you're going to keep going where your heart takes you. And your heart is going to take you where spirit tells you you need to go. And that's perfect. That's you have a traveling root chakra, like physically, but you're good enough at grounding that you're able to handle that when a lot of people can't. Like a lot of people can't handle the, okay, now we're going to do this. It's too impulsive for a lot of people. They do better when they're stuck in one spot. Then, okay, you have to pick up a move and people are like, no, I can't do that. This is, that this is what you're supposed to be doing. So it's easier for you just to fall into that pattern. Now, this one here, okay, so this is your solar plexus chakra. You have the citrine, which is courage and strength. It's a merchant stone, but I would say in this, it's not to do with that. It's more about being firm in your power. I know who I am. I know what I want. I'm not going to let this situation or that situation back me into a corner. And we also have the clear quartz in this spot, which tells me this is what you need to be working on right now. Making sure that you stand firm in your power and do not back down because you're going to be challenged.
Yep. And this is soon, right?
This is now, yeah.
Like this is the now. Yeah.
Like before a couple months.
Okay.
Like within a couple months. Because this one here, people are telling me it's usually 2 to 3 weeks. So within that period. Yeah. I would say within a month.
Okay.
Just because from what I've heard from other people in the readings. Okay, now we're going to move to the soon. So this is basically what is going to happen if you work on the stuff that we've been just talking about. You're going to have some release in your third eye, which is good. That means that you're going to let go of some of those limiting beliefs that you're holding back on, which is good because that's what we need to do. We need to let go of that. And you'll grieve that, but once it's grieved, you'll be okay with it. You have some healing going on in your throat chakra.
Interesting.
I think in this situation, I think it's more, I don't think it's a you healing. I think it's a you healing people thing. Like you being that person who does the, the Reiki or the encourager of healing. So I think that's, you're going to use your voice to make people come to terms with that and start working on it on their own. Right now, you've got really nothing going to go on in your heart chakra right away. In your solar plexus, okay, you have a fluorite, which to me, I use it a lot for meditation, but it's a very clarifying, very truthful stone, and very, um, I would say, I think for a lot of things, I would use a fluorite more so than a sodalite, even though they're the same chakra, because I find the fluorite is more kind of more gentle than I find a sodalite more of a masculine stone, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And the fluorite is more soft and gentle.
More the feminine energy.
Yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Other people might read it differently, but I oftentimes will, with crystals, even if they have a specific meaning, sometimes they do something a little bit different for you than they might do for someone else. Like I might use something for sleep that you wouldn't use for sleep.
Right.
Like it just depends on what resonates with you. So that's really one that I've always used it for meditation, and I find it very calming and very, very gentle. You also have your carnelian in your solar plexus, which it makes sense to me because the sacral is where we hold our emotional traumas, and emotional traumas are what causes our solar plexus not to be strong. So the beliefs that get pushed on us, the you're this or you're that, and when it gets repeated over and over again, then you start feeling it, and then you start having less confidence in yourself. So it works on that chakra.
Krista, is that why people who tend to have childhood traumas, that they will end up having usually a lot of gut issues and digestive problems and things like that?
With men, it's more like a digestion thing. With women, it's more of a ovaries and uterus and
Right.
more and weight. With women, it's a lot of, because we carry that weight down there. We don't know if there's something that comes up and we don't know what to do with it. We just kind of tuck it away down in there because it's not really hurting anything down in there because there's already stuff in there that's hurting. So we'll just pack it down in there and we'll keep it with the other stuff that's all hurting, and then it'll just kind of blend together and we won't notice it as much.
Oh, okay.
But eventually what we have to do is get rid of that because it causes problems, right? It causes
long term, absolutely it does. Yes.
It causes a lot of women problems. It causes weight problems. It causes back problems. It causes mobility problems. You have a hard time moving on. Like, so all these little chakras are connected, but together they're so powerful. If you can get them all even just moving in a little bit, like just moving and not just standing still, then it makes a huge difference in the outcome of your day or your week or whatever you're trying to get through.
Right.
So this is, we're kind of going into the later now. So this is after 2 to 3 weeks. People usually tell me about 2 months ish. So we have some healing going on in your crown chakra or your third eye chakra, which we knew that was coming because we're following our path here. Then we have lepidolite in your heart chakra. So to me, I use lepidolite for addiction, bad thought form, or anxiety. And I'm going to say that you're going to find a way to, through your work, find a way to lull your heart when it's in that state without falling into the bad patterns that we normally would when going through heartbreak.
Yep. Makes sense.
Do you have any questions?
So as part of the reading, this is what you would normally do, is you'd open it up so that people can ask questions?
Oh, yes. Yep, for sure. Sometimes I don't know, but sometimes I get kind of like little kind of tidbits of information,
Yep.
and then I have to build it from there. Like, so if I get like I'm trying to think of an example. So if I got so your solar plexus, okay, we'll work on sacral. Sacral is the easiest for me.
Yep.
So your sacral, you've got some emotional traumas going on in there, and you don't want to deal with them. There's a lot going on. You're having a lot of issues with it, and what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to tell. What did you ask me? Brain freeze. I was trying to concentrate on getting something. Sorry. So
I'm not laughing to make fun of you because you lost your train of thought. I'm
I'm just like
actually laughing at both of us
my
because
head's
now
going way
that's
over
what
here,
my
and then I'm
question.
like, what was I doing?
No, I asked you if you let people ask questions because
Oh yes. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
what I would say is if you were saying, okay, I'm having this trouble, like I'm trying to have a baby. I really want to have a baby. I'm having trouble with fertility. I've been to the doctor. They say there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with my husband. Why can I not conceive a baby?
So there's our
Well,
support right there. Teresa said that she also it happens to her too.
it's
Of
yeah,
course.
I was like zoned right out trying to like dig into it, and then it was like gone. Just
Okay,
totally gone.
generalization here. It's kind of a female trait, is it not? Like I don't
It
know what it
is,
is.
especially like in menopausal type age.
Oh God.
I wish. Anyway, yeah. So what happens is we don't know what to do with that, and so what I would tell the person is, so you need to work on what is causing you to have issues in that chakra. So sometimes I'll pick up physical abuse. Sometimes I'll pick up sexual abuse.
Right.
Sometimes I'll just pick up like if it's not. Sometimes I just get like a. Do you know how you feel when someone's like nitpicking you? Pick, 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 and it's like poking the bear.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get that. So I'll
Okay.
sometimes get what type of energy it is. So if it's a physical abuse from parents, it feels different to me than it feels if your high school friend picked on you every day at school.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel the same to me.
No. And it doesn't
But
feel it probably wouldn't feel the same to the person either. But
exactly.
but sometimes those things all kind of get lumped in together too, right? I mean
Yeah.
that happens
So
as
you
well.
need to find a way to work on those things separately before you can like so if they said, so what do I need to do to work on this? So what you first I would say you need to cleanse first. Um, sage, whatever you like to use, Palo Santo. You could have like a detox bath even if you're more into that type of thing.
By the
Um,
way, are you actually talking to me right now or is this a hypothetical?
no, this isn't everybody, but yeah, you too. Just
Yeah.
because I already
That's
told you that I think too about
yeah.
detoxing. But yeah, it's like so first you need to get clear of the I'm gonna say debris because
Yep.
we always have like little bits of like just junk,
Yep.
like I don't know, spare parts that we don't need. So we got to get rid of that first, and then we got
Residue.
to what's that?
Residue. I call it
Yeah,
residue.
residue. So
Yeah.
then we need to get rid of that first before we can start healing that
Yeah.
spot, right? So that's by cutting cords and all that type of stuff. And then once you do that cleansing part, then you're going to do a meditation.
Mhm.
That entails whatever it entails for you. Everybody's different. I can't sit there and do the whole. That's just not me. I'm not a I'm not a serene, peaceful person that can just sit there and do that. With me, I conduit water. If I go in a bubble bath, I can like meditate like nobody's business. Or if I'm doing dishes, having my hands in the water and the window open, that combination just I can get there. Um,
So
So
what you mean, okay, so just to clarify, what you mean then is that when you are when you're immersed in water, or
hmm,
right, you it tends to help you to go to that other sort of dimension, right, where you feel meditative.
yes, and I think
Yeah.
personally, like with my personal life, I think with me, the reason water is my thing is because that's how I read people cutting hair, and I didn't know that's how I was doing it, but I the water in people's hair as I'm locking eyes with them in the mirror, and I was just reading, it was just coming easily to me.
Oh, right,
But
you did hair.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So that
yeah, I
kind of
did hair
became your
for
meditative state while you were working with people.
yeah, my hands in the water.
Interesting. Interesting.
And I didn't, it took me, even after I stopped cutting hair, it took me a while to figure out that that's what was doing it. And I think the only reason I realized that that's what was doing it is because when I wasn't cutting hair anymore, and I would get the same thing from doing dishes. It would just like, so it's not really the same thing. So it must be the water. And then with the person, it's in combination with a lot of people won't lock eyes with you. They'll automatically look away. They don't like to look into
Yes.
people's eyes. Or if you're, especially if you're telling something that would be good for them, they tend to not want to.
Well, yes, and I'll just kind of add my little piece to that. I find that even if I'm out in public, because what I'm trying to do, and actually it's my nature to do this. So I say I'm trying to do, but it's just kind of me anyway. But I am making a conscious, concerted effort to do this, and that is to lock eyes with people out in public, say at the grocery store or something like that,
Yep.
and say hello to them.
Yep.
And it's just, and most people, not everyone, but most people are sort of like, oh,
Yeah. They're
you
taken
can see
aback.
they kind of jerk, right? Because they're obviously not used to that, which I
No.
think is kind of sad.
Even opening doors.
Yeah,
Have you ever gotten a weird look from someone that you opened a door for?
oh yes, you mean
And to me,
telepathically
that's
open
just,
the
you should
door?
just do that. You know what I mean? Like that's
Totally,
uh,
totally.
maybe
You
it's
know
an
that
energetic
feeling when you walk
thing.
into a room and you're a complete stranger, but they look at you like someone just looks like, and there's this connection you can't explain, right? But it's a recognition. I believe it's a recognition at a spiritual level. You
Yes, I
know,
think so too.
our
Yeah,
souls
sure.
our souls are recognizing one another in some
Yeah,
way. You know,
yep. I
acknowledging one
think so.
another, and people need to be acknowledged. Like I just, it's so important. Like I've told this story before, but when we were in India for almost 10 months, better part of 10 months, back in 2013. And when we would walk over to the little village across from where we were actually staying, um, I would say namaste, namaste,
Hmm.
namaste to everyone. And it wasn't me trying to be something that I wasn't. That was just, I knew that they spoke Hindi. I had to say namaste, and because saying
Exactly.
hello wouldn't have mattered.
Yep.
I would do this because that's what they would do. So I remember Alex, our daughter, she asked, she goes, Mom, why do you do that? Like, why are you doing that for everybody? And I'm like, because what that actually is
Did you
saying
say
is
Alex?
that my soul, basically my spirit inside me, recognizes the spirit inside you.
Hmm.
And I just think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So if a simple little namaste is saying,
Hmm.
speaking to their soul in that way and giving them that sort of recognition and acknowledgement, then it's a moment in time, but it could be the difference that makes the difference for somebody, you know,
For
who
sure.
maybe doesn't usually get acknowledged, or,
Hmm.
you know, so I don't know. I just feel like it might make someone feel good.
Exactly.
And it makes me feel
And,
good to do it.
and I find a lot of times too, if I'm having a rough day and say I'm going through the drive-through, I'll buy someone a coffee. I know it
Yeah.
made their day,
Yeah.
and just that little lift of energy is what I needed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we can find ways to work on each chakra. No problem. Like
Yeah.
sometimes through color or whatever we need to do it. Like, and there's always people like once you put it out there, I need to do something. What do I need to do? Who can I find to help me? Then people will appear. They just they
Yes.
just seem to hear you. They hear you, your soul.
And then, the other piece too, Krista, that I find about the chakra work is that if someone has been having a consistent problem in a certain part of their body, and they think that they've done everything physically that they could possibly do to clear
Mhm.
that out or resolve that issue, right? And they know that they've taken care of maybe the mind piece, but maybe the piece that you haven't looked at is the energy piece, right? And I
Yeah.
personally have seen the value so much in doing the energy piece that I think people should probably do the energy piece first.
Oh, for
But
sure.
and do it on the daily, like make it a part of your whole routine every day, right? Keep
And if you're having a hard time, maybe get some Reiki, get the energy moving first, and then
Sure.
work on it. Because if you just get that block cracked just a little bit, that's all you need to get the energy moving.
Mhm.
And usually with Reiki, that can happen quite quickly as long as you're open to it.
Well, Reiki or some other kind of energy work. I mean, there's
Oh, for
lots,
sure. Yep.
there's loads and
Yep.
loads of energy
There's all
treatment.
different ones.
Oh, there's so much to pick from nowadays. I mean,
You can even do it on your own. Like I don't. We used to do this thing where we go like this with the energy ball. I don't know if you've ever done that or not.
yep,
You can do that on your chakras. So you
on
get
your
the energy ball working, and so then put it on your heart chakra,
right, right,
stimulate the chakra, and then you can even bounce it like you do with the energy ball.
yep,
And you do that for each of your chakras, and it just because if you can kind of compare it to a spinning top. So you spin the top on the table, and it goes and goes and goes. But as
right,
soon as it hits another one or something, it stops.
yep.
But if they're all going the same speed and kind of the same distance apart, then they're going to just keep going.
Right, right, right.
So as soon as you have a little hiccup, you have to take care of the hiccup.
Good point. Really good point, actually. So good. And it's so true. But here's the thing. It's actually simple, right?
It is.
It's
It is
not difficult. It's just making that conscious effort to do it,
exactly. Yep.
right? I
Yeah, and it's
mean,
no effort.
there's been so many things. Like I've been on this journey for a hell of a long time. I know you have been too. And I've done the diet changes and I've done the physical, I've done the, structural stuff. I've done treatments, physical treatments. I've done
Mhm.
mind work. I've done
Yep.
all these things. But it wasn't until I added in my case, it was doing Qigong practice every day,
Yep.
until I added that into my practice, which is a consistent way to clear the energy and to move the energy and to,
Mhm.
increase that life force. That
Yep.
was the difference. That it was, to me, it was sort of like that was the piece,
Yep.
it was the
Yes, mhm.
piece that brought these other pieces together. And it's, I mean,
Yep.
things aren't perfect yet, right? But I mean, the improvements that have come from bringing that piece in on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Wow, like what a difference.
And really, you do what resonates with you. Something that
Yeah,
works for me might not be the same for you.
right.
So your best bet is to like do your research, read about, oh, I heard about Reiki, so I'm not going to read about it. So see which one you read and you're like, oh, that sounds like something that would work for me.
Yeah,
Then you look for the person. And don't just go by reading a piece of paper or, looking online. I would ask friends or
yeah,
friends of friends first because you're going to
sure.
get word of mouth. You want somebody that you know is in it for the right reasons and you know is going to really try to do what you need them to do for you.
Right, right. Well, and I mean, I think ultimately what that comes down to then is to kind of put it out there, what you're
Mhm.
seeking, right?
I'm
That you're,
ready.
yeah,
I'm ready. Send me
I'm
somebody.
ready. Yeah, say I'm
Ready.
ready. And then just see what shows up, because it's very interesting how these things show up in your life. And if you're paying
Mhm.
attention, right? If you're paying attention, you will get that message and you'll go, oh, yes, I asked for that. I did
Mhm.
ask for
And it
that.
might not be identical. It might not be identical to what you asked for.
No, no.
You know,
I love my
that happens a lot with love lives too. These young girls are like, oh, I just wish if I would just give anything if, and
Yeah,
there's a reason that that's not happening.
yeah,
I know right now it's just ripping you apart, but there's a reason that that person is not for you.
yeah.
There's
That's
always
right.
a reason.
Well, and we just need
Your
to
higher
listen.
self is protecting you from that reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. Oh my God. I'm so glad that a bunch of stuff that I thought I wanted growing up, like things that went through
Oh
my
my
mind,
God.
I'm so glad that it was not meant to be for that
But
to
even not even just that, but also the expectations. Like, where would I be if I followed others' expectations of what I should be doing? I wouldn't be
absolutely
in Alberta.
no. Oh no.
I
No, no,
would probably
no.
still be with my first husband
Right. Right.
because no change is easier than being uncomfortable.
Right. Thank you for saying that. No, it's true.
It
Stronger
is.
than the fight for survival is the fight to keep things familiar.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
even though it's a discomfort or
Mhm.
creates a conflict or whatever it might be, it's still familiar. So it's easier to just stay in that familiar situation than it is to break out and step into your power and, take a whole different path, right? Because that's risky. It's risky,
And step into your power, your solar plexus power of I'm strong, I'm confident.
right?
When you're coming from, especially a lot of abusive relationships, when you're coming from that to healing, it's really hard to get past that part. That's
Right.
something that everybody really needs to working on, that solar plexus, because it doesn't matter how much work you do if you can't be confident in who you are and confident about your decisions and what you believe,
Yeah.
then it's all really not for anything.
Because what ends up, this is what I found happens, and I see this a lot with clients as well, and I'm sure you have, is that you might have like the thought form up here, or
Mhm.
the thought that I'm gonna do this, and I really want that, and da da da. But if you don't have the grounding down here in your solar plexus, if you don't have that,
Mhm.
like you said, built up that strength in that chakra, then you're going to very quickly, very easily, when challenged,
Mhm.
right? It's more likely that you will just sort of melt under the pressure,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and
So
I mean, there's always,
good intentions, but
yep. So there's always people out there. When you're ready, they will arrive. They just do.
yeah.
They just do.
And I
Like
guess
even our connection that we just found. It was unexpected and it was out of left field, but it was what I asked for,
there you go.
right?
Yeah. But we're at least, we at least trust our intuition enough to know that this is what we asked for. We recognized this connection that you and I made,
Hmm.
and we were running with it. We're like, well, we're not just going to let this just go to waste.
No, no, and with me, this is one of my comfort zones. So I knew that I had something to say, and
Yeah.
I knew that it had to be said. Stepping out of my comfort zone of knowing that anybody that clicks on this video is going to see me, that's a comfort zone for me.
You mean that
But
takes you out of your comfort zone?
right, so
Yeah.
I'm out of my comfort zone, but at the same time, I know that's what needs to be done, not just for me, because I'm given this information for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be sharing it.
Yeah.
And
And
until
so
I start following through, then
by
I'll
sitting
end
at
up.
home and just sort of staying in your little bubble,
Mm,
right? And not putting yourself out there, you
yeah.
were doing that a certain level of probably self-protection, maybe.
Oh, for sure.
Protecting yourself
Oh,
from
yeah.
possible, rejection, or protecting yourself from, well, what if I say something wrong? Oh my God. We go through
What
these
if
things,
what if the
right?
men in the white coats come?
Ah!
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh God. So you just
but
needed
I but
Amy to
I've
come into your
noticed
life and kick your ass.
I have noticed since we started doing these and
Yeah.
since I've started doing more daily spiritual things,
Mhm.
I'm coming out of this
Yeah.
2020 funk.
Yeah.
We're able to get out of the funk now. So let's get out of the funk. Yeah.
Well, but it's one of those things. Sometimes it's about taking the action, right? We can overthink things too often, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if we just take the action, there's a reason that there's that quote, action conquers fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I see happening with you is that it's the action that was the piece for you that was missing,
Yeah.
right? The action piece.
Or the inaction.
Or the inaction. Okay.
Right. And that's probably also to do with pain, right? Because I am not moving forward. I'm
Right.
starting to now, but I have not been moving forward. I've been waiting for this to get done. I've been waiting for that to get done. I've been waiting till my daughter starts daycare. I've been waiting till my dad passes away. I've been waiting for all these things to happen, but always putting my inner self on the back burner because
It's
there wasn't
isn't
enough
it
time for
amazing
that.
how we do that? It's so amazing how
I
good
think
we
it's part of the
are.
nurturing thing too, because as a mom and as a nurturer, we always put everybody before us. Or you can take a break as long as you do this first and then you can sit down for 15 minutes. We're always putting conditions
Yeah.
on taking time to relax or taking time to focus or taking time to ground. Even if
Yeah.
you just so you're outside doing your yard work, which is kind of a pain in the butt,
Yeah.
but you're doing it and you're feeling, oh, I'm going to take a break now. The first thing you should do when you take that break is take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass. Close
Absolutely.
your eyes, tip your head back, put your face to the sun, and just drift away for a minute.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's
We
the
need to
quickest
find
way
our
to get
balance.
wounded, really. It's the quickest way.
Yeah.
And
And we need
yeah.
our balance back.
And I believe too that it reconnects us with being kids, because when we were kids, what did we all do? We ran around in our bare feet. Like, my feet were
Oh,
disgustingly dirty all the time.
my
Right?
friend Jody and I don't even know when we had time to go anywhere, but we spent a lot of time laying on her lawn, staring up at the clouds and the stars.
Really.
Like hours and hours and hours and hours. And there was no better place to be.
Back when we used to have clouds,
Yeah.
real clouds.
Like real clouds. And see, this is why, like Jody and I, we always talk about clouds because we know what they look like. We looked at them all the time together.
That's right.
So, and we always played the game. Oh, what does that look like? What does that, you know what I mean? They don't look the same now. They're not the same for sure.
Oh, they are not the same. Absolutely are not. But
Mm.
you know what? Kids, the younger generation, they wouldn't know any different, would they?
No,
They really wouldn't, because they're used to seeing what they look up and see, which we know is not natural.
it's not right.
No,
Just not
it's not
right.
right. There's something not right about those long lines in the sky.
Well, I think the not right about them is the fact that I know a few people with asthma, and if I go outside, I cough up some stuff for a few days. But if they go outside, we're looking at like a week at least.
Really,
Yeah,
it's a shame.
and it's the days like there's some days that when they have like 5 or 6 going on one day that I've noticed, I'll tell my husband I don't want him working outside
Right,
because he has asthma.
right. And
And
it's not about being fearful. It's because through experience you've
through
seen
experience, he'll
what
get
it does.
sick.
Yeah, yeah.
And what is it that we're inhaling that we're coughing up?
Yeah,
Ew.
that's not good. That's
No.
not
No.
no, no. So, okay. So here we are, right? You've done a reading for me, and I can honestly say, right, that what you have shared with me is very, I would say, accurate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's no question that I speak the truth, but I will say that it has taken me longer to build up the foundational sort of strength and courage
Mm-hmm.
to speak the truth, even when challenged. Okay, even under
Yes.
pressure of
Mm-hmm.
you know, outside sources that that don't agree with what I might have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care. Like, I really don't. Like, I know what resonates as truth for me. And I'm okay with standing in that now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, but until I was working on a lot of this grounding and building up the lower chakra strength, I would say,
Excuse me.
right? Until I had that peace, I think I was way too much up here in my chakras, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I was too open in my crown and my third eye, and I think this was blocked. I think that's what blocked me to my heart. And I mean, it just kind of like um, it's had its what's the word I'm looking for, limits, I guess you might say, or restrictions, right? Blockages, whatever. But yeah,
I
for
feel you.
sure. Yes, no, it's true. It's so true that, I mean, and if anyone knew me honestly growing up, they might be like, yeah, she didn't have a problem saying things, because I was a little bit mouthy, right? But that was only in certain contexts. Like, that was only in certain contexts. Like, I could be a
It
little
is.
offy, little mouthy or whatever, maybe in school, like in class
I
with
think
certain
I think
teachers.
the word is witty. That's the word I use.
Well, I thought I was being funny.
I'm pretty witty.
Maybe some
Some
of
other
those
people
teachers that
might
I
not
was
use that word, but
maybe some of the teachers I was being mouthy to probably didn't see it that way. But
inside.
I understand now, obviously, that a lot of that stuff too was coming from insecurity, right? And so, I mean, it was
From
just
the
sort of
traumas.
being, yeah, it was from the traumas, and I was just kind of being a little bit of a showboat in some ways, and whatever, just mouthy. I was just being cocky, right? And then after I met my biological father, I went, oh, that's where I get that trait too. All right, then, makes
Mine
sense.
came from my mom.
Like, really. But the truth of the matter is I really do feel that I've gone through a period of time in my adult life where I really pulled back and I went inside, and I've really done the healing work that I was avoiding doing before, right?
And
And
if you even had time to do it.
well, and I mean, who had time when you had young kids? Let's face it, right?
Exactly. It
Like,
kind of take a lot of time.
oh my God. Like, and this is what I tell, like, my friend who has young kids and stuff. I'm just like, just trust me when I tell you, you're not going to regret the amount, like the extent of time that you spend with your kids when they're young, because there's going to come a time where they're not going to want to hang out with you anymore.
No.
Right. And I mean, if there's anything probably that I would like to have changed about when my kids were younger, before I met my
Mhm.
husband and we got married, is I wish I would have been able to spend more time with them when they were little, because I was going to
Yeah.
college, because I went back to school, and then I started my business, and I was just like, go, 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 go. And like, it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
That's the
so
same. And I think that's
take
why
the
I
pressure
enjoy
off,
the
right?
granddaughter so much.
Right.
Because I'm seeing those similarities with my daughter, and it's like
Mhm.
having the chance to do it over again.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm enjoying all of it, right? Like I'm fun mom to fun nana, but I don't have to do any of the hard stuff because I just get to do the fun stuff.
Well,
That's the
then
best part.
that's the process, right? Like, you earned that.
Yeah, it was funny the other day. She wanted something and Mama said no. She looked at me and she goes, Nana. And she grabbed my hand, Nana. And I said, Mama said no. So the answer is no. And she goes, Papa? I said, Papa's not here and Papa's not going to say yes either. Right? So it's so cute though to see that,
It
you know.
is. And I mean, I don't have grandchildren yet, but just to even see my friends' kids, my the neighborhood kids,
Mhm.
I just get such a kick out of them. Oh my God, I
They're
get
so
such a kick out of
funny.
them. Oh, so I look forward to being a grandparent. I've let my kids know, like I do look forward to being a grandparent.
Mhm.
But it's okay. There's no pressure. They don't have to rush or anything. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Um, but let's face it. I mean, as women, we do put so much pressure on ourselves when we're younger and
To be
we're
perfect.
parents, and especially if we're single parents, or in my case, I was divorced. I mean, it was a choice to be single.
Mhm.
But I just I just know now, like it's amazing, like the wisdom that you kind of gather when you get older and you've been through a lot, and
Mhm.
and you just realize, damn, like I wish I wouldn't have spent so much energy on that shit, like when I was younger, like, oh my God. But
Yeah.
anyway, it is what it is. My husband would say everything's perfect. It's all divine, exactly the way it needed to happen
Mhm.
to get us exactly where we are now. Right? Do you see it that
Exactly.
way?
I do. I do, because I definitely wouldn't be who I am right now.
That's
And
right.
I do have to say, when I was with my ex, I definitely wasn't this person. I very quickly became the quiet mouse on the corner.
Yeah.
And so I'm 100% sure that that person's never coming back, because I didn't even like myself then.
Right. So you
So,
became someone else in order to be in that
excuse
relationship.
me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Young mom,
Yeah.
wanting to make it perfect, and if
Yeah.
you just try a little bit harder, it won't be so bad. And
Right.
it doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And you want to have a different life than what you want to make it different than what you had growing up. And let's face
Mhm.
it, what are you focusing on when you're saying that to yourself? You're focusing on what you don't want, right?
Exactly.
And then that's what we end up creating
And
a
it's
lot of
and
times.
it's weird too. They say that you marry your dad. My first husband was the opposite. Not even one iota like my dad.
Hmm.
But I was after the bad boys all the time.
Right.
Now, my husband now, him and my dad got along so well. So it was
Hmm.
nice to see. It was like, and he was the first man that my dad ever liked, ever.
Interesting.
Dating, husband, doesn't matter. He's the only one my dad ever liked.
Wow.
And so that tells me, okay, I did I did a good pick this time. Good
Well,
job.
I can't say the same for mine.
No,
Oh God, no, no.
no.
Meaning by that, I just mean that generally, I believe my family does not like my husband, but it's for other reasons, right? It's all the dynamics around it, right? Because it meant marrying my current husband meant that I was leaving my hometown, right? I was leaving my family. I was
Yeah, but
making that big leap.
I think, but I think part of it too is he allows you to be who you are,
Hmm.
and that bugs people who don't want you to be who you are.
Oh, different way
He
of looking at
allows
it.
you. That's like
Yeah,
my husband. My husband allows me the space to be who I am. He
right.
doesn't judge me. He doesn't make fun of me. He doesn't like, he supports me no matter
Yeah,
what I do. And when you have that person, you're free to be who you are without
so
without
true.
consequence, or without, like, how many years did it take me to stop saying, is it okay if,
Yes.
can I, whatever?
Yeah,
Nobody should have to live that way. And when we carry that around for so long, and it's like, why?
yeah.
Why would you allow another human to drive you down there so far that you didn't know if you were going to make it back up? That's giving your power away. So
Absolutely.
I've tried since then to never give my power away. Sometimes it's hard, but
Hmm. But you're so right. You're bang on in that assessment, Krista. Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. Is Kevin allows me to be myself, and there are people in my life who would definitely resent that. No question. Yeah,
Hmm.
no question.
Definitely.
But that's okay because I'm okay with being me.
I think I think it takes a special kind of man to handle strong women.
Oh, no question.
Because
No
if my
question.
husband was anybody besides my husband,
It just
things would
wouldn't
not
work.
be
Would
good.
it?
No, it wouldn't. No, no.
So we can
Because
give
he,
them that, we can give them that credit, right?
yeah, I can
That
give him.
we understand it's not easy being with us. Like we get it,
Yep.
we get it. And that's what makes us love and appreciate them even more because we
But
get it's not easy, right?
this is what people need to understand too. Everybody in their life needs to be that person who will
Yeah,
honor and cherish the person that you are, whether it's what they want it to be or not.
that's right. So true. So true.
Just acceptance.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be accepted in one way or another.
It is so true. We want to be accepted and we fear rejection,
Yeah. And we just want to be
right?
loved. And we
Just
want to be loved unconditionally. But the
yes,
problem is, so many love, but they love conditionally.
that's
It's
right.
not the same.
It isn't. It isn't. And I don't know about you, but I know I've found the man who loves me unconditionally.
I,
And
I
I
did
love
too.
him unconditionally. And that is true. It's like you love your children, you know? I
Yeah.
will love my children no matter what, even if they're being absolute jackasses, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even if
Yep.
I want to take them and slap them upside the head and shake them and say, what the hell? I still love them. I
Yep.
do. I love them. And, sometimes I have to remind myself, right? There's been
Yep.
times I've had to remind myself, you love them unconditionally, and they are not here to make you happy
Yep.
because
Yep.
that's just a fact. I mean, they're not here to make us happy, you know?
Yep. And
No.
for Mother's Day, I had a hard Mother's Day because my mom and my grandmother. Every year it's hard,
Yeah.
but this year I have my dad on top of it, and then a few other people since then have passed away that bothered me, and I was just so upset. I just needed to cry. I just needed
Yeah.
space. I needed, and my husband didn't push me. He didn't try to stop me. He didn't, I mean, he just let me be. And
Mhm.
he went out and he got me some breakfast and he got me a big bouquet of flowers. And the first thing I noticed was there was stargazers, daisies or lilies, and it's my favorite lily. And I
Mhm.
said, "Did you remember that this is my favorite lily, or did you just buy these by fluke?" And he goes, "So I thought that was really nice. Like that's what I'm talking about. He spent enough time getting to know me,
Yeah.
and he knew that that would make my day,
Yeah.
and he knew it would cheer me up."
And it's
And
just
I'm not
little, right?
usually, and I'm
Just
not
little.
usually a give me flowers, give me flowers. I'm not a
Yeah.
flower kind of girl, but
No.
because it was a stargazer chosen for me, it
Right.
meant more.
Right.
So
And
I gave
that
him a hug.
and that that hits you like at a deep level, right?
Yes, sure.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah. The fact that he recognized what I needed
Yeah,
and gave it without judgment.
for sure. That's special.
It is. I gotta keep her. I gotta keep her.
You better hold on to that one.
Yeah, I will. Well, I've already outlasted the first one. So,
Well, if
so
say
I
what I need
told I
to
told him, I said,
myself.
we're not I'm not getting divorced ever again. I said, so you realize if things don't work out, I'm gonna have to kill you, right? he goes, and he started laughing. I'm like, do I look like I'm laughing?
Not
But no, I
joking.
was totally joking. But yeah, it's the trauma and I'm never doing that again. So he's just gonna have to stay married to me forever.
I know, right? Divorce is a big undertaking. There's no question for both sides.
Yeah,
I'm not saying as a woman it's harder. A woman, man, it doesn't matter.
and the
It's hard
kids.
on the kids.
Yeah,
There's no question it's tough. That's why I say, be sure. But even then, when you're sure at a certain time in your life, people change, people grow, people
Yeah.
expand, and you
I
can't.
think with age comes maturity.
Right.
Number one, I
Yeah.
was only 20 when I got married the first time.
Me
So with
too.
age comes maturity,
Yeah.
but also when you know more and learn more, you behave in different ways. Like something that might have been an issue in my first marriage
Yeah.
now is like a let's talk about it thing
Yeah.
because the maturity is different.
Of course. I mean, let's face it. I don't care what anybody says. When you're 20 years old, you probably don't know yourself real well. You probably
No.
don't. I mean, there's the odd person. Okay, I'll give it to some people. Maybe a 20-year-old is a way wiser than even people that are twice their age or even more.
Mm-hmm.
Of course that
Yep.
happens. There's always exceptions. But generally speaking, of course, 20-year-olds don't know yourself enough to know whether or not you want to give your life to share your life with somebody else. I'm sorry, but I just don't think so. You know, but that's come with experience as well, right? That's come with
Oh, even
experience.
the second time we dated for a year,
Hmm.
we lived together for a year, and then we got married.
Oh my
I'm like,
goodness.
I'm doing it slow this time. Make sure it's
Well,
right.
I can honestly say I didn't do it slow the second time. It was very
Uh,
fast, but you know what? We committed to growing together. That's the
yes, and
commitment we made to one another. We committed to
and
growing
that's
together.
that's a big difference too. Like
Yes.
I knew by the time I met my husband now, I knew what I wanted and I knew what I didn't want, and I
Yeah.
wasn't going to settle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is what I don't want. I'm not having it.
Yeah.
This is what I do want. That's what I'm looking for. And I even told him right at first, if this is not what you're looking for, don't waste my time. I'm too old for this. Right? Because I was in my 30s, right? Like I don't have time to play games.
Yeah.
Either you want this or you don't.
Yeah. But you know what? That's a certain level of confidence that comes from knowing yourself, right?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself a little better. And I would say probably too, maybe having those lower chakras a little more.
Maybe listening to some of those things we're supposed to be listening to,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because that's the thing too. Like even if you get that information, if you're not going to use it, it's not going to help you.
That's right. That's
So,
right. Totally
so
true.
that comes with maturity too, knowing what is going to work and if you're going to do it or not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
anyway,
Well, I think
we better wind this up because people are going
it's.
to like.
Yeah, I know
Again.
it's been over an hour. I know, but I just want to say I want to give you, I want to give you this last little bit of feedback that what you what you're tapping into is very, it's accurate and it really resonates. And if I didn't feel that way, Krista, I would definitely tell you. So
Awesome.
I didn't
Bye.
get I didn't anything that everything that you said today that you shared with me from your reading, crystal casting, you call it, right? Um, it's bang on, totally, and it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great thing, and I super appreciate what you have to
Thank
offer.
you.
So people need to know where they can actually find you because you kind of you're still a little bit hidden, just enough that people don't know where they can find you. So you need to let people know the best way to get a hold of you if they want to have a reading themselves.
You can find me on Facebook at Zen Conscious, all capital letters. You can find me. You can message me at Krista Curtis Creations on Facebook. The actual business page is not active, but I still can get mail there. What else?
And if somebody's connected to me, if they want to DM me, then
Oh, for
I can
sure.
get them connected to you as well, right?
Yep. Yeah, and anytime and I'm pretty open about questions too. If you have any questions about anything, like if you want to do it and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to. If you have any questions at all, like don't be afraid to ask me. I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
If I know. If I know. If not, I'll send you in the right direction.
That's awesome. And maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll be brave enough to do a live reading.
I think you should.
I know.
I think you should. I think we should.
My husband's
I
going,
think we should.
hello.
I think we should keep going with our stepping out of the comfort zone. And
Absolutely.
I do
Yeah.
have a few things to share with you, but not on live.
That's fine.
But
That's fine.
but
That's
that's
all
good.
good. I
But
appreciate
but
you.
it's all about working on it. It's working. We're working
Yeah.
on it. It's working. So
That's right. So
so yeah.
So this is our third time doing the Soul Sister Cafe, and we're doing them weekly, right?
Mhm.
We've been trying to shoot for Wednesdays at 10 Alberta time. So that's Central Time, right? Or Mountain. Is that Mountain time?
I have no idea.
Don't even know.
I just
Anyway,
know what
we'll
time it is.
shoot Eastern because it's easier.
Just keep checking. No.
We shoot for noon at Eastern time on Wednesdays. So that's kind of what we're shooting for. We're playing with it a little bit. We'll see what happens. Life is dynamic, right?
And also summer's a little hard sometimes. So
It can be.
We'll see what we can do.
Be.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So we'll see what happens. But it's fun, right? I like getting together with you.
Me too.
Us both former New Brunswick
Yes.
girls, you know?
Brunswick girls.
Yeah.
Which is a trauma in itself. No, I'm just joking.
Well, we can
No, I
talk
think
about
that's
that
I think
another
that's what
time.
I think that's what made us such good girls, because we're from New Brunswick.
Well, I think it's because we
Everything
do
good
come
comes
from
from
that
the east.
small town, New Brunswick, right?
Yeah.
Maritimer sort of culture, mentality, whatever you want to call it. And we've moved away, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
we've gotten to have like these two different perspectives,
Yeah.
right? And I think that makes a big difference. So
It
we can
does, for
definitely
sure.
talk about that another time, though. That is a topic that we should probably talk about sometime.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So had a great time. And like I said, anybody that has any questions, I'm wide open.
Awesome. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.